affecting them is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education provided a public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, that was posted at the Montville Township Municipal Building, all Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the district website, and advertised in the Daily Record, the board's official newspaper, on October 9th, 2020.
Thank you, Mrs. Stunt. I don't know if Elliot or Natalie are here. I know they weren't.
Natalie, there we are.
Okay. Who do we have?
Both of them.
Oh, okay. Why don't we start with Elliot tonight?
Give me 1 second. We had a little YouTube problem.
Huh?
We had a little YouTube problem.
All right, hang on a second.
Yeah, we're here.
There you are, Elliot.
All right. I'm gonna do sports today. Although the winter sports season will not start until January, there are many postseason awards for MTHS fall athletes. So for boys soccer, congratulations to the boys soccer's team for winning the state section championship. The team was also named NJAC Team of the Year and Morris County Team of the Year. Congratulations to Coach Kevin Brown, who was named NJAC Conference Coach of the Year and NJ.com Coach of the Year. Congratulations to Colin Hedigan, who got first team all county, first team all conference, first team all state group 3, and second team all state. Andres Lazo got first team all county, first team all conference, second team all state group 3. Alex Brinchka got second team all county, second team all conference, and second team all state group 3. Ethan Leibowitz got third team all county, second team all conference. Matt Kolmoden got honorable mention all county, along with Patrick Ferrari, who received honorable mention all county, along with second team all state group 3. Spencer Karras received honorable mention all conference. And lastly, Ian Kaiser got third team all state group 3. For cross country, boys cross country got 7th at state sectionals and 11th at NJACs. Girls cross country got 5th at state sectionals and 10th at NJACs. Congratulations to them. Dan Golgorski got second team all conference. Nick Secco received honorable mention all conference, along with Lisa Wagner, who received honorable mention all conference. And lastly, Elizabeth Bazanoff received honorable mention all conference. For field hockey, Bella Mangano received first team all conference, along with all county third team. Maddie Kelly received second team all conference, along with all county honorable mention. Natalie Rossenow received second team all conference.
Natalie!
All county honorable mention. Congratulations to them. And lastly, Charlotte Weinstein received all county honorable mention. For football, Nick Amoroso, Zach Stoltz-Ilge, John Walsh, Anthony Hurley, and Blaine Frank were named Super Football Conference first team. Congratulations to them. Zach Waltsack, Frank Riccardi, Mike Fardo, and Mo Gaber received Super Football Conference honorable mention. For girls tennis, Ishani Patel received honorable mention all conference. And lastly, for girls soccer, Danny Vito got top 22 player in Morris County, first team all conference, along with Bella Vito, who received all county honorable mention and second team all conference. Christina Ruchowski got all county honorable mention and second team all conference. And lastly, Ashley Campbell received honorable mention all conference. So congratulations to them. And while winter sports won't start for another month, NJSIAA has already announced when spring sports will begin in 2021. Boys tennis will start practice on March 26th, and all other spring sports will start practice on April 1st. So that's all we have for sports.
Thank you very much, Elliot.
No problem.
And Natalie?
Yes, hi. I have the report for past and future news. So,
Well, before you give that report, Natalie,
yes.
congratulations on the second team all conference and all county honorable mention.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead with your report now.
Okay, thank you. So for past news, on November 24th through December 11th, MTHS students and staff were encouraged to participate in the Leonidas Foundation's Holiday Toy Drive, where MTHS community was able to donate toys to families and youth in need. The MTHS Theater Company conducted their fall play virtually, which was Clue stay-at-home version, and this was on December 4th and 5th at 7:30 p.m. And congratulations to the MTHS Teachers of the Year. Mrs. Evans was named Princeton University Distinguished Secondary School Teacher. Ms. Balea was named MTHS Education Services Professional of the Year, and Mrs. Calabrezos was named MTHS Teacher of the Year. Some future news that we're looking forward to: the 13 days of MTHS started on Monday, December 7th, and will run through Wednesday, December 23rd. This is the Student Activity Council School Spirit campaign to celebrate the holiday season and the start to a new year. Every day, students and teachers have submitted photos of participating to the Google Drive for a chance to win. And last Wednesday, SAC conducted an MTHS Trivia Kahoot as part of the School Spirit Week. Yearbooks are currently on sale for all students in grades 9 through 12. To order your book, please go to the school's website and look under the news banner where there is a link to purchase. Baby pages are also available for purchase for 12th grade students only. And for those who wish to purchase these pages for the seniors, remember to disable your ad blocker when you go to purchase your yearbook. Baby pages can be purchased from now until January 2nd. The MTHS FBLA will be taking part in the nationwide community service project, Operation Uplift. A goal of this project is to provide resources and necessities to the homeless in local communities. From Monday, December 14th through December 21st, they will be collecting items to donate to the Market Street Mission in Morristown, and collection bins are located outside the front doors of the main entrance. On Monday, December 21st, MTHS will present the winter concert at 7 p.m. This will be a virtual event streamed on MTTV's YouTube page, and the performances will all be pre-recorded. In lieu of PAL's annual holiday door decorating contest, they will be hosting their first virtual locker decorating contest, and there will be 3 student winners and 1 faculty winner who will win a $10 gift card from a local business. And lastly, the class of 2021 seniors are encouraged to check their grades 12 Schoology page and click on the local scholarship classroom to see if there are any scholarships that they qualify for and are interested in applying to. And that's the end of that news report.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
You're welcome.
And again, congratulations.
Thank
Do
you.
we have any questions for our student reps? Okay, guys, thank you very much, and you have a great holiday season.
Thank you. You too.
I'd now like to
You
turn it
too.
over. I'd now like to introduce Superintendent Dr. Rotar for her remarks.
Okay, just to follow up on Elliot's report, in we have fond memories of our pre-COVID board meetings where we would be at the Township Administration Building and be able to invite the soccer team to come and join us so we could honor them in person. Unfortunately, under the current conditions, we're not able to do that. But we do have a couple of pictures of, I believe, of the soccer team because we do want to honor them in some small way. They had wonderful accomplishments this year. Elliot did indicate the many, many honors that they earned both as a team and a number of the individual players. So we are incredibly proud of you. And also Coach Kevin Brown, who was named the NJAC Conference Coach of the Year and the NJ.com Coach of the Year, a tremendous honor, certainly reflective of the great success that the program had this year. So congratulations to Coach Brown and all the members of this fall's boys soccer team. We wish you were here. We wish we could shake all your hands. We are extremely proud of you. Okay, I will continue on. I did have a conversation with Mr. Thompson today, our Director of Technology. He did indicate to me that there are approximately 70 Chromebooks that have been repaired. Notification has been sent out to whoever filed the ticket for that repair, and yet these Chromebooks have not been picked up, or any arrangements been made to have them picked up. In some cases, the person who filed the ticket may be a student, but we have actually tried to, through the principals and case managers, notify folks. So it is very likely that after the first of the year, if we don't have these Chromebooks picked up, that those student devices that you currently have may be temporarily disabled, just to kind of get your attention that you need to come in and pick up these repaired Chromebooks. So, you know, if you have a ticket and you haven't responded to the request to pick up the repaired device, please do so as quickly as possible. I also did receive news today through the Department of Education that educators will be in the 1B tier with regard to the distribution of the vaccine in New Jersey. That's very encouraging news. So, you know, it means that they are in a priority position in terms of having access to the vaccine when those distribution schedules are developed. I did want to further comment on the communication that I sent out last Friday, indicating that instruction at the middle and high school levels would switch to fully remote learning starting yesterday and continuing through January 15th. This decision was based on the number of cases that we experienced at both of those schools last week. There were 8 positive cases at the high school and 4 cases at Lazar. As we had anticipated, there have been additional positive cases reported in both buildings this week. As I have done since the start of the school year, I monitor the positive cases very closely in making the decision to keep our elementary schools open for in-person instruction. The decision was based on my belief in the importance of in-person learning for our youngest students, particularly the students at early grade levels, our special education students, and our English language learners, coupled with the low number of cases at our elementary level. While there was 1 case reported at Cedar Hill, 1 at Hilldale, 1 at William Mason, and 1 at Woodmont schools last week, the individual at Hilldale had not been present in school since November 19th, and the individual at Woodmont school had not been present in the building since November 24th. So there was no exposure occurring in the building with regard to either of those cases. I am not an epidemiologist, so I rely on the guidance that was prepared by the New Jersey Department of Health and shared with school districts in August, and then again updated in November. In accordance with this guidance, the number of cases identified at the elementary level would not merit a transition to full remote learning. Currently, the COVID-19 activity level report lists the Northwest region as orange or high. We are not, as some people have indicated, in the red range. New Jersey school districts have been told that any decisions with regard to closing or shifting to fully virtual learning need to be made in consultation with the local health department, and I am routinely in contact with them. The level of virus activity at the elementary level has not shown the same spike in cases that we have seen at the middle and high school levels. The New Jersey Department of Health guidelines indicate that the elementary schools should remain open in our current circumstances. The CDC and the New Jersey Department of Health continue to indicate that schools are safe for in-person instruction. I cannot emphasize strongly enough the need to continue to be vigilant in following the protocols. I implore families that are traveling over the holidays to please observe the 14-day quarantine period upon your return. We have done a very good job since September, and it is very important to keep our guard up. Just to conclude, this is our last meeting of the board prior to the winter break, and I did want to extend my personal wishes for a very happy holiday and a very happy new year as well. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Rotar. Business Administrator's report?
I have no report.
No report at this time. Thank you, Katine. We go into committee reports. Facilities and Finance, Karen?
you, Charlie. The committee met tonight. Just a couple of things we talked about was a financial update for this year. We also talked about construction projects that are being completed and possible future construction projects. Talked a little bit about our food service as well as the administrative building and some of the needs there.
All right.
The last thing is the audit for the year has been postponed because of COVID. That's through New Jersey legislation.
Thank you, Karen. Curriculum, Mike Palmer?
Yeah, last met on December 1st. I reported on that previously. No current report.
Policy and Personnel, Mr. Modrak?
No report right now.
Communications, Michelle Zuckerman?
No report.
Mike O'Brien, Safety and Security?
No report.
MTEA negotiations, Karen?
Thank you, Charlie. I think I mentioned in the prior board meeting that we met for a meet and greet with the association, and we did set up some dates, January 12th, 26th, and February 9th. The boards committee received some suggested items that we forwarded to our negotiator, Andy Brown. He's reviewing them, and then the committee will meet after Andy is done with his review.
Thank you, Karen. The MTAA administrators and supervisors have written us letters, and we will start negotiations after the first of the year. School Board Liaison, New Jersey School Boards, Karen?
Oh, Karen, you're muted.
Thank you, Renee. The Saturday, December 5th, the Legislative Committee met. We had as a guest speaker, Mark Magyar. Mark is the Associate Executive Director for the New Jersey Senate Democratic Office. And among other things, two of the items that I just wanted to share with the board, $10 million has been placed in this year's budget to provide grants to study consolidation, regionalization, and countywide school districts. So any school district interested can apply for a grant. And he also talked a little bit about the new educator health law and the plans associated with that, commonly called Chapter 44. And some of the issues that have come to light since the law was passed. So he assured us that they're looking at that and hope to address and provide some remedies. One thing I wanted to bring to the board's attention as well was New Jersey School Boards recently went live with a new webpage that's basically dedicated to COVID. It's called Meeting the Challenges of the 2021 School Year. And the page is broken up into 4 categories: educating the whole child, New Jersey School Board Association resources, board district operations, and state and federal guidance. So if you have a chance, take a look at that. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Morris County School Boards, Mike O'Brien.
No report.
Educational Services, Mike Rappaport.
Yes, we met last week. Most of the business was routine. A couple of things that were discussed is do in-person learning. They're just managing the cases as they happen to come up. And coming up in January is the annual reorganization meeting. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Drug Awareness, Mr. Mike Palmer.
No report. Committee has not
Athletic-
met since COVID.
Oh, okay. Athletic Boosters, O'Brien, Mike O'Brien.
The athletic boosters met on December 2nd.
um, uh, Coach Guarino, Athletic Director Guarino, reported on how the seasons have been moved on an update by, what the NJSAIA is doing about seasons. And he said that he may be required that more physicals be gotten by the parents or by the students to participate because of the seasons that have been moved. They extended the congratulations of the administration and the Board of Education to all the teams that had successful seasons, and to all players and athletes on their success by even getting the season in. They are accepting ideas about the speaker series, and if they are any suggestions by board members or administration or parents, they can forward their suggestions to what speakers are appropriate, for this year. Fundraising, fundraising is the report. You have to realize that a major source of income by the seasons closing down and the shack closing down, there's been a lack of funds, but there's certainly merchandise on sale, and there's bricks on sale, and there's membership. Anybody who wants to join their family, and you don't have to be a parent family, any family can join, or any person in town. Okay, the next meeting will be on January 6th. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. PTAC liaison, Cedar Hill, Karen?
Thank you, Charlie. So the PTC met, the Home and School Association met virtually on December 2nd. They had conversations about the various fundraisers, which have been pared down this year. They also talked a little bit about COVID reminders, like answering the call to assist in contact tracing, the need to quarantine after travel, things of that nature, and to remember to submit the daily health screening. And they also talked about the community service efforts that the home and schools involved with, like Cedar Hill holiday cards for the Chelsea home, and the various the scholarship that Cedar Hill offers, the Beacon of Light Scholarship. At the meeting, I provided a little history to the beginnings of the Beacon of Light Scholarship. Anyone interested can just contact me and I'll tell you. That completes my report.
Thank you, Karen. Hilldale PTA will be meeting in January. Valley View, Joe?
Their next meeting is on January 13th.
Thank you. Christine, Mason?
No report, Charlie.
Palmer, Woodmont?
No report.
Okay, Lazar Middle School, either Dave Modrak or Michael Rappaport? Either one? Or not? Okay, the high school, Michelle Zuckerman or Michael Bryan, or neither one?
Next meeting's January 20th.
Thank you, Michelle. Public participation is an opportunity for any member of the public to ask any questions pertaining to agenda items.
And I would ask that if you are watching on YouTube, that you follow the instructions at the bottom of the page to come over and join us in the Zoom meeting. If you're in the Zoom meeting and you'd like to be recognized to comment on an agenda item, I would ask that you raise your hand and I will recognize you.
Thank you, Renee.
I do not see any hands raised.
All right. May I have a motion on the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Christine, you have that?
Yes, Tom O'Brien.
All right, any questions about section I, the minutes? you're gonna have to speak out because some of you aren't on screen right now. Grants, there's no action. There is one, the memorandum. Section K, use of facilities. L, personnel. M, curriculum instruction. And the policies none on the agenda at this time. All right, roll call, Mrs. Slunt, please.
Mr. Palma,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Aye.
Dr. Cordolino,
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry,
Yes, abstain on check 96948.
Mrs. Fano,
Yes, but abstain on M1-4.
Dr. Modrak,
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport,
I abstain on M.1, item 5, yes to everything else.
Ms. Zuckerman,
Yes.
Mr. Grau.
Yes. There's no need to go into a closed work session at this point. Public participation. It's an opportunity for any member of the public to ask questions or make comments about anything that is not listed on the agenda as an item. Dr. Rotar gave the sort of an overview of how to go about doing this. At this point, I would open it up and, Renee, I know you've been the one
Yep.
pulling these out, so
All right.
when your name is called, please identify who you are and where you live, please, so we have it for the record.
Sue Rappaport,
Hi, I'm Susan Rappaport. I'm a Lazar Middle School counselor and a Livingston, New Jersey resident. I just had some thoughts I wanted to share. In the spirit of mindfulness, which I know is a district goal, not only must we be mindful of the students and their families, but also of the staff and their families. Of the many recent cases that we've had of COVID, a few were staff. And in keeping the kids home, we're allowing them to have the safety should they adhere to the protocols and cautions our governor has asked of us, yet we as staff do not feel as though that same value is being placed on us. We're being placed in a position that even if we are abiding by the protocols, as many of us are, we're being left at risk. And aside from the exposure, the health department is so overwhelmed that people are not getting tracing calls, the contact tracing calls, until days after they were exposed, thus exposing others in the process. And perhaps if they were not as overwhelmed and backlogged, I would not be as concerned, but this is the state of things presently that we're living in, unfortunately. And speaking of the contact tracing calls, or of contact tracing, it calls to mind the stories some of my colleagues told at the past board meetings when they had to miss their own child's milestones due to having to quarantine when they were exposed at school. And those stories really tore at my heart. So I'm sure all of you are not unaffected either. So to sum up, this is extremely difficult during the holiday season, when it is quite possible that we may have to quarantine from loved ones should our job, which we can do at this time very safely from home, cause us to be ill. I wrote this in letters earlier on in the year, but it really makes me and my colleagues feel undervalued as people by the district, that we've been working so hard for so many years, many of us, our whole working lives. Like, this was my first job, Montville. I've been here for 22 years. I was a teacher in Lazar, then became a counselor. You know, I put my heart and soul into this, and I've never spoken at a board meeting. I've never felt like this before, and I've never felt kind of as undervalued as I do right now, when the life of my family and myself are being put at risk every day. And it's beyond my understanding why, when the kids are home, we cannot also be given the same respect and safety as the rest of the community. So please consider the message that you're sending to staff through this, because basic pedagogy tells us that people perform better when they feel valued. We do that for our students. That's what we're trained to do, and we're an educational institution. So please, I beg that you do the same for us. I really thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sue.
Mr. Havington?
We are, as I forgot to mention before, we're going to try and, there's quite a few people who would like to speak, so we're going to try and keep the responses down to a minimum. So if I have to cut you off, it's just so we can get to more people, okay?
Okay. Good evening. My name's Andrew Havington. I've been the orchestra teacher at the high school for the past 9 years. It's been the love job of my life. I put my passion and all of my work into it. You can ask my 2-year-old son and my wife. I'm always up late night working hard for this school. I have to say and agree with my colleague from Lazar that the actions of the district currently are not respecting the hard work I've put into this district. We are giving the same safety and concerns to our students, to our Board of Education, but we're not giving that to our teachers. I promise you that I work hard every single day. Is how we were able to grow the music program in the high school. It's why we have the only spring concert at the high school. It is why we have the only winter concert happening right now. And that's because of the hard work we are doing online. There is no educational value to coming into an empty dark room with empty chairs and empty stands, just so we can be exposed potentially to a harmful virus. I please beg you to consider my family's health, my health, and my community's health when you make the decision to allow us to teach from home. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Jonathan Hubbard?
Jonathan? Jonathan?
Hello, yes. Sorry, a little technical problem. Good evening, everyone. This is John Huppert. I teach at Lazar. I am the MTEA Vice President. And before I start my remarks, I'd like to say congratulations to the boys soccer team. Today, a caravan of cars with signs saying, "Keep our teachers safe," came through the Board of Education parking lot to alert the board that we do not feel safe in school and to urge you to close all schools to in-person instruction before the holidays. Thank you and happy holidays to you all.
Thank you, John.
Angela Irvy?
Hi there. I'm a parent of 4 kids, high school, out of district, and then a couple in elementary. I was very happy, actually. My daughter goes to the high school, but I know it switched to all virtual. I think that was a great decision with all the cases rising, as well as I hear there are other cases that the kids themselves are not being tested for multiple reasons that have come in contact due to can't get testing, weights, things of that nature. I do think that I feel as a parent, as a community member, that the staff, I also encourage them also to be home with things rising in our county, to stay home, be safe for the holidays. Not to mention, I think it would be great for the high school, middle schools, for the money that is cost to keep them running. They could use that, save the money with the teachers staying home, and it could be resupplied into other things that the teachers could use for maybe other line courses or whatever. But I think there could be a financial gain. That's not the top thing, is their safety, but the teachers could also get that, maybe reabsorb that money to help them, that they could be saving by having those buildings shut down, and they're also safe for the holidays and going forward, because these teachers are amazing, and I want them to continue teaching our children. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Chelsea Di Diego?
Hello?
Hey, Chelsea.
Hi,
You're
my
on,
name is, Hello, my name is Chelsea
Yes.
Diego, and I'm the instrumental music teacher at Lazar Middle School. I hope that you and your families are all safe and doing well. I just have a question, and that is, who makes the final decisions on whether or not a school moves to 100% virtual learning? Is it the central administration or is it the local Department of Health?
That decision is made by the district administration in consultation with the Board of Health. And the directives that we have very, very clearly indicate that that consultation needs to take place, that the decision should not be made unilaterally by the school administration.
Okay, thank you.
Jackie Kaiser.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
How are you? I hope you're all well. My name is Jackie Kaiser.
What's the name?
Jackie Kaiser.
Okay.
I have a second grade son at Valley View Elementary School, and I am a teacher at Lazar Middle School. I have lived in Montville my whole life. I love this town, and I am proud to work for this district. In my 15 years of teaching at Lazar, I have had the pleasure of working with enthusiastic colleagues, under encouraging administration, and with inspiring students. I consider myself lucky to spend every day with such amazing people. That is why it saddens me beyond belief that every day that I enter our building under the current climate, my first feeling is fear. Fear because this virus has spread in our building and among our students and staff. It is a feeling that I know will be matched on my colleagues' faces. And while we miss our traditional classrooms immensely and our passion for teaching remains, our mental health is so clearly suffering. Because of this, I'm asking you to consider treating teachers' health with the same priority and compassion that you are showing for our students. I am asking you to allow teachers to work remotely while students are not present in the building, as we have shown that we have the capabilities of being successful when teaching in a virtual environment. Doing so would most certainly lessen the potential for this virus to spread throughout our school more than it already has. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Jackie.
Jason Jones.
How you guys doing? Guys, can you hear me?
Okay.
Good. Well, first of all, I'd like to commend you guys. I know last meeting when I spoke, I mentioned something about not wearing masks. So I'd like to commend you for doing so. I think it's a good sign. And it helps promote, I think, similar behavior in people that are watching. So I thank you for that. And I've had conversations via email, and I understand the idea of the data, and we're following the data. I get that. But I think that in this situation with such a dangerous virus and the numbers spiking across the state and the county and the country, right here in Montville as well, going up every day, I think we have to also take into account some of those factors like that are not shown in the data. It's almost like we're on the bow of the Titanic, but we're not getting into the life rafts because, our section isn't quite touching the water or going underwater yet. So, I just beg you and implore you to yes, take the data into account, but also to take the other factors that are not shown in the data into account. Because one of the things, we said, I know you stated that there was low transmission rates at the elementary schools, but the low transmission rates is a little deceiving when testing isn't required. If a kid comes into school, data, the science has shown that younger kids are more asymptomatic, than older people. So if an asymptomatic kid comes into school, he's got the virus, but asymptomatic, he can transmit it to whoever he's in contact with. He may feel totally fine. Now, those kids that he's in contact with, or those teachers, may not show symptoms at all, or they may show symptoms up to 14 days later. In those cases, there's not going to be any, record of in-school transmission because the original kid was asymptomatic. So I mean, I get that. That's how the system's set up, but I think we have to understand things like that. Also with the contact tracing, and, correct me if I'm wrong, because, I may be, but from my understanding, when students or staff test positive, the nurses, Board of Health and school nurses trace back to either 2 days before testing or 2 days prior to the onset of symptoms, whichever occurred first. Okay, so that's my understanding. So if there's a kid, call him Johnny, sorry, Johnny's out there, but so if he tests positive, then his teacher, Mrs. Smith, was in close contact with him. She has to quarantine for 14 days, right? So if Mrs. Smith shows symptoms 4 days after being exposed by the virus, by this kid, that would be past the 48-hour contact tracing window. And therefore, her case would not be considered an in-school transmission by the current guidelines, even though in actuality it was. And again, that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, he can correct me. And just, one other thing that is maybe kind of skewing the data is that some members of the community are not following the basic safety measures, as you implored them to do, Dr. Rovtar. We've got symptomatic kids still coming to school sometimes. And right now, under the current orange level of Cali, all members of a household have to quarantine when one person is awaiting their COVID test results, right? But sometimes kids are staying home, they're quarantining, they're not getting test results for one reason or another. As was stated before, maybe, the wait's too long, maybe, for whatever reason, they're not getting their test results. The siblings are still coming to school. So, again, I know that there's not much we can do about that, but I think these are the types of extenuating circumstances, factors that don't show up in the data that we really need to take a look at and take into account. Okay, and I 100% get the data thing, right? The numbers aren't where you want them to be, or where the state says they need to be. But again, I think we have to take a look at all of these other things that are happening in the community as a whole, and take the picture as a whole, not just like a snapshot. All right, guys, thank you very much, for letting me speak, and happy holidays to you and your families. And I pray that you all stay safe. Thank you.
Same to you, Jason. Thank you for your comments.
Danielle Barkey?
Hi, my name is Danielle Barkey, and I'm a teacher at Lazar Middle School. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I want to express my concern about adults still being in the building while students are virtual until January 15th. I'm in quarantine right now due to exposure to COVID by an adult in my classroom. Although eliminating the children does lessen the stress of contact tracing, distancing, and amount of exposure to students, the bottom line is teachers are still exposed and still at risk. As you can imagine, many of us have not seen our families due to the significant exposure to COVID at work, and I'm personally not willing to bring something home to my parents whom are older and compromised. The safety of both students and staff should be a top priority, and with teachers sharing spaces, we will continue to put ourselves at risk when our jobs can be done safely at home. If teachers have demonstrated anything since September, it's their commitment to the district, our students, and constantly adapting to the ever-changing circumstances. I love my job. I would do absolutely anything for my students, but being required to work from the building in our current reality is just not safe or necessary. I'm asking the board tonight to demonstrate the same commitment to their teachers by closing the building until January 15th, and then reassessing what's best for all of the stakeholders in the Montville community. Thank you so much for your time. Please be safe and happy holidays.
Thank you, Danielle.
Jamie Novak?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, I hope everyone is well and everyone's families are well. I am Jamie Novak. I am Montville High School alumni. I lived in Montville for 33 years. I just recently moved to Boonton. I teach at Lazar. I have two questions. The first one is, on two separate occasions, I couldn't come into school this school year for minor symptoms like sniffles, mainly out of respect for my colleagues and my professional responsibility. I was told that I had to take sick days on both occasions. we can't come in even if we have sniffles, and that is, out of respect for everyone and in an effort to try to contain this virus that could potentially kill my friends and their families. We can't come in if we have like the slightest things, but we might still be able to teach. So my question is, we shouldn't have to pay for that by using our sick days. So both times that happened to me, I had to use a sick day. So my question is, why can't we call out virtual, quote unquote, if we're a little bit under the weather, but we are still capable of teaching? Why disrupt the learning for the kids even further when it's perfectly avoidable?
Gina, I think that's something that you're gonna have to go through with the administration. Dr. Shorter, who's in charge of HR, would be the person to talk to. This isn't at the board level right now for answering this type of question. That would be handled more administratively, and they would be able to answer your questions.
Okay, good to know. And you know what? And Charlie, you reminded me, I really have to give a shout out to my 3 administrators, John Pacelli, Mike Shera, Mike Pisciuto. I can't even get it out without getting emotional. They just have been rock stars, like just beyond. They have been so supportive and just really working magic. So I really appreciate them. I have to say that too.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Gina.
My second it's Jamie. My second question is, this one's a little bit more emotional for me. I apologize. 2 out of the 25 of us who requested virtual accommodations back in August are still out on forced unpaid leave. These are 2 tenured and seasoned teachers who have serious situations and are now facing further hardship as a result of this. The difference in cost in bringing them back is minimal, especially in return for the service that they provide. One of them celebrated 15 years of service this year and is also Montville alumni. Dr. Robchar, you sent us a lovely message for this week's Mindfulness Monday, which, by the way, I so appreciate your messages, the Mindfulness Mondays, the little cards that you give us, everything that you do to personalize everything. It's so wonderful of you, and I think that's what sets you apart from so many administrators. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much, especially right now. But this last email was about kindness and human compassion. And I just want to ask, I hope that you can apply that to this situation now. And especially now that the kids are virtual, can we please bring these people back?
That's a personnel matter that I am not going to discuss in public. I think I personally have been very clear about, opening the school year and wanting to have, in-person instructors in the classroom when that's possible. That has just been part of the reopening plan that we've used. But I am not going to discuss the specifics this evening of any individual personnel matter.
We're not allowed to, okay?
Okay,
But you can go through your principal, and he knows what avenue to pursue from an administrative standpoint.
Okay,
But thank you for your comment.
Thank you. Have a happy,
Great.
healthy holiday season.
Oh, you too, and your family.
Elise, Kara?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Hi, I hope you're all doing well. I am the parent of a high schooler. I have lived in Montville for 22 years. I have to say, a number of people who spoke previously echoed my thoughts about the mindfulness note that came this Monday. And again, I do appreciate those things. I think that's what sets this district apart from others. I work for another school district, and I am fortunate enough right now to be working from home. Our students are not in the building, and our teachers are being permitted to work from home currently due to the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, as well as the upcoming holiday and the anticipation that those numbers are going to skyrocket once people may be seeing others in their families for the holidays. I'm imploring you to show some level of compassion for the teachers. in Montville. They are wonderful. They do a wonderful job. I am disheartened by the fact that there are many people who have some kind of universal distrust of the profession. There are so many businesses across this country that are allowing their employees to work from home, some of them indefinitely. I know this isn't the best situation. I'm a special educator. I understand. But I observe my teachers every day giving 150% and more from home, as well as when they were forced to be in the building without students. And at this time, I really think we owe it to our teachers to show them some level of respect and compassion for themselves and their families as these numbers are skyrocketing. Thank you, and I hope you all have a safe and healthy holiday season.
And thank you, and the same to you and your family.
Thank you.
Donna DeMarco?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hello, thank you for calling on me. I just want to share a couple thoughts. A few meetings ago, I asked that you reconsider your decision to allow the staff and students to be fully remote in hopes to protect everybody leading into the holiday season. As of Friday, a decision was made to have the students of Lazar in the high school to work remotely due to the increase in positive cases. However, the staff and the elementary communities were not given the same accommodation. Although it was stated that the numbers of positive cases in the elementary schools were reasonably low, reality is the number of transmissions in the community are still on the rise. As of yesterday, I am in quarantine because I was exposed to a child who had symptoms earlier last week. However, the school was not made aware of this situation until yesterday when notified of the positive case. I went about my life for a week, possibly exposing fellow colleagues and students, my family, and my 82-year-old father who I care for on weekends, all because the information was not shared with the school in a timely manner. The actions of not being transparent and upfront about exposure is not okay. It's not fair or acceptable, yet it continues to happen. For that reason, I ask that you seriously consider placing the elementary schools on full virtual instruction and allow the staff to teach remotely from the safety of their homes from now until the reopening until the reopening of the in-person instruction in January, as an effort to keep the entire district safe, including the staff. If we can't get accurate information from those who have been exposed or having symptoms now, then how can we be sure that we will be made privy to that information after the holidays when we know travel and gatherings are going to be on the rise? Thank you for your time. Happy holidays to all of you, and I hope you and your family stay safe.
Thank you. You and your family also be safe.
Thank you.
Judy Godhealth? Judy Godhealth?
Hi there, Judy Godhealth, Montville resident and Lazar teacher. I feel like we are waiting for the other shoe to fall. I feel like we are waiting to be told that this part of Morris County is in the red zone, which to me means that we're just waiting for more COVID cases. And that scares the living daylights out of me. Renee, obviously your Monday morning mindfulness emails mean a lot to a lot of people. And we all appreciate the time that you take to do that. It does set you apart from everyone else. And a lot of people mentioned this last Monday's email. And I think it was interconnectedness. And I read it and I agree, we are all connected. But part of connection is being willing to not just hear each other, but to listen to each other and to understand each other. And I know that this year has been extremely difficult for everyone, administration, for our kids. But it has been extremely difficult for the hardworking staff of Montville Township. Jason Jones mentioned before that we need to take other things into consideration other than the data. And I think that part of being connected to each other, we need to take things like the mental health of the staff into consideration at this time. I wonder how many people in our township are traveling to their offices and sitting in a room and sharing a room with other people. I wonder. I believe that many of the largest corporations are telling their employees that they're staying home through June. I don't get why teachers are being asked to come into school, and I don't understand why our elementary school, why we're waiting for more cases in our elementary school and putting our kids and our teachers at risk. So you had mentioned that we have a happy holiday and a happy new year. And I think that we're all going to try our best. But I'm not sure how you have a happy holiday and a happy new year if you can't see your family, you can't attend gatherings. We don't have an option to take a 14-day quarantine because we're staff. And the community can keep their children at home, but we can't. We can't stay home. So I ask that you think about this, all of us being connected. And I always like to think, because I've always thought since I've been teaching in Lazar for 22 years, I've really always seen, I see my own class this way, as a family. And it might sound corny, but I think that's what we are. And I would like this district to view us more as a family and to protect us and to protect the staff. We're protecting our kids. We're keeping them home. They are our treasures. So are we. So please rethink this, have a heart, and allow teachers to stay safe from this insidious virus that has caused over 300,000 deaths in our country. And let us teach remotely from home. Thank you. I hope you all stay healthy. And God bless all you.
Thank you, Judy. A happy holiday to you and your family also.
Thank you.
Catherine Alechi?
She needs to upgrade Zoom.
Oh, Catherine, we may not be able to hear you because you don't have the correct version of Zoom, unfortunately. Scott Riotto?
Good evening. Scott Riotto, Roxbury resident, MTHS history teacher, MTEA president. I hope you and your families are well and preparing to stay safe, warm, and dry in the impending storm. Dr. Roftar, I know you've received many staff emails throughout this whole pandemic, most recently since last Friday afternoon. In fact, those emails are still coming in, literally, during this meeting. These staff emails have articulated quite poignantly very real and valid and intimately personal concerns about health and safety, concerns that people who are not in front of students on a daily basis in a global pandemic can fully appreciate. The association thanks you for reading and responding to those emails. The association wants it known for the public record that our dedication and commitment to our students, the students of Montville Township, continues unabated and undiminished, even in the face of this second, even more deadly wave. Members of the association want nothing more than to spend a safe and healthy holiday season with their families. We wish you the same with yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And a happy holiday season to you and your membership also.
Christopher Butchko?
Hello, Dr. Rovitar. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. First of all, I would just like to say, Dr. Rovitar, that
Wait a minute, could you just give us your name, please, and
I'm sorry.
where you live?
My name is Christopher Butchko. I am a social studies teacher at Montville Township High School, and I am the current Morris County Teacher of the Year. First,
I know you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I didn't
Mr.
recognize
Ralph. I
you.
appreciate it. I would just like to say first, I would never be on this call like this if I didn't feel it was absolutely necessary, and I hope all of you realize that. But I do have to concur with what my colleagues are saying, especially now that this wave has been so much more than what we experienced in April, and the fact that my students are now home, that to allow the staff to also work from home would also be ideal in this situation. Because I have a lot of, I am fearing about this now that we're continuing to go to work, even though the kids are home. And I would just ask you to please consider allowing the teachers to also work at home. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and you have a great holiday.
You too.
Maria Dapolito?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening to all. Dr. Rovitar, my name is Maria Dapolito, by the way. I work at Lazar Middle School. I'm an Italian teacher, and I live here in Montville as well. Dr. Rovitar, just piggybacking off of what my colleagues have been saying, I would greatly appreciate if you would please consider having also the elementary schools teach virtually as well, particularly after the holidays. I'm fearful that I've been hearing families wanting to travel, and to me, I just feel like if the elementary schools are open and teachers and students are both there, I just fear that this virus there's just going to be a perpetual ongoing spread. And considering that many of those students do also have siblings up at the middle school and the high school, I'm just fearful that it's just a perpetuation of this spread. Thank you. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you. Same to you and your family. We have about 4 or 5 more people. I know that we've listened to quite a bit, so we're going to try. How many? We have 4 more people, so we'll try to get these 4 through.
Caitlin Macera?
Hi, my name is Caitlin Cardinal-Mosera, and I teach at Lazar Middle School. I'm a resident of Rockaway Township. I've taught at Lazar for 8 years. I love my students. I love my job. I love being a part of the Montville School District. I didn't grow up in Montville, but I did grow up in the halls of Lazar in our high school. My brothers and I would visit our father when he was a teacher and principal in Montville Township. I used to roller skate in the rotunda of our high school as a kid. I've never felt unsafe in our schools until this year. I'm saddened to say that I no longer feel safe entering my own classroom. While I understand that decisions are being made on data, this virus is unpredictable and preventative measures are encouraged to avoid wide-ranging spread events. To keep this short and sweet, I support everything that my colleagues have been saying. I implore the board to reevaluate the stance of having teachers present in schools while students are learning from home. Please weigh the risk to our physical and mental health against the perceived benefits of us teaching from the building. I thank you for your time, and I wish you and your families a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season.
Thank you, Caitlin, to you also.
Jennifer Bain?
Hi, can you hear me? All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer Bain. I am Montville. I've been living in Montville for about a decade. I have two children who are at Cedar Hill, and I'm also a physician in New York City. I guess, two things to bring up. One, I think there really should be no concern from the Board of Ed to let teachers in the middle school and the high school working from home. I think even in healthcare, if you have the opportunity to work home and provide that your work ethic in that situation, I don't think there should be any concern from providing that done. So from a parent perspective, I don't have children in middle or high school, but I certainly think that should be considered. I do think similarly, they shouldn't be penalized if they are asked to quarantine. But I have to admit, I've kept my children home when they are under the weather, and I consider them sick days, and they're penalized because if I think that they're on the edge, then I do think that they're sick days. But I think the comments about taking this incredibly personally, and this is personal. We all know people and have family members and friends and colleagues who died from this, but we can't overemphasize that you are working with the Department of Health. We cannot not believe data. Yes, data has its limitations, but I think that you've done a very good job of taking the data and using those recommendations based on the Department of Health. I thank you for keeping the elementary schools open. I think that based on the recommendations and based on the information that we have, it is safe to go back to school in a safe situation in certain situations. I think the American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC, have said and supported that it is safe to go back to school when it is done so safely. And Montville Township has certainly done that successfully for 3 months. And I think the fact that you haven't flip-flopped like many of the other districts in the tri-state area, I think is actually incredibly, you should be very proud of. And I think that's wonderful. I think the mental health of parents and families and professionals going back and forth is really, really too much strain for many individuals. So I also want to just add a second bit. I think often people say essential work, you're essential workers. And I agree, I'm an essential worker too. And people say, well, I didn't sign up to put my life at risk or my family's life at risk. Well, neither did I as a physician. I never signed up to go to work to get COVID and die. I signed up to help people, just like educators sign up to take care of children and to teach them. And so I'm scared every day going into my job too. And I love my job. But I think this is a scary time for everybody, and we have to unite in what's safe and what we can do as best as possible. And I certainly do think it's very important to continue telling our community that it's not safe to just take the quarantine and to go away for vacation. And that should be for people, families, as well as educators. I think it's very distressful, and it's very upsetting from a moral standpoint. But this is ethics and this is public health. This is not about politics. This is not about the Department of Education. This is us working together as a society. And I think it's a bigger level. But back to the original point, I do think that teachers in the middle school and high school, if they are virtual, then from my perspective, I think that makes a lot of sense to be able to provide that service remotely as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. Catherine Alessi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi. Thank you all for taking the time to speak with me. Just so you know, my name is Catherine Alessi. I'm a para over at Lazar Middle School. I'm very proud to say that all my 5 siblings and myself have gone through the Montville School District. My parents purposely picked Montville because they knew it was a safe and wonderful town. I just like to reiterate what my colleagues have said. We'd like to continue to be safe and happy and healthy. And in doing so, I wish that you would all consider we all remain virtual within district to ensure that safety, and proud to be part of the family. And happy holidays to all of you. And thank you so much for taking the time to hear my voice.
Thank you very much. And you have a healthy holiday also.
Helen Giza.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Helen Gizas, resident of Montville Township. Montville Township high school teacher of 18 years. I had something prepared to read, but I think I'm going to go on the whim now. And in my course of 18 years in Montville Township High School, we've come together as a community when we had deaths of students like David Gibson, TJ Sefcik, teachers like Paul Kulik, Ilana Johnson. Those were all tragedies that occurred, and we had to come together for the staff and students. Last week, I had to be there for my colleagues who were breaking down and crying in the hallways because of all the cases that were occurring within the high school community. You know, I've worked here for 18 years. There've been a lot of highs, there've been lows, and we've always, whether it's academics or the arts or the sports, we have gone above and beyond meeting the state standards. I don't understand why we can't be proactive like we were trying to be a month ago, asking you to close schools before Thanksgiving until January 15th to keep us safe and mentally healthy. Why now we can't go above and beyond and say, we're going to shut down schools and go for virtual to ensure the health and safety of our teachers and students. And that's it. I have nothing more to say. But being in the high school last week was dreadful. And I hope that, you know, this is not isolated. This is not just going to be a high school situation or a Lazar situation. It's going to trickle down to the elementary schools. And I don't think that will be healthy for the children either. And the teachers shouldn't feel like they should fear going to work. So if you can, please reconsider your decision about going remote until at least January 15th. Thank you. And I hope you have a nice holiday season.
Thank you, Risa. You also. All right, we have one more?
Well, she's already spoken.
I'm sorry?
She has already spoken. I don't know if you want to allow people to speak a second time.
Well, is this the last speaker we have? All right, even though this person has spoke, this will be the last speaker, as I mentioned before.
Jamie?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you so much for letting me speak again. I promise I'll be quick. I just, in response to the physician, the woman who spoke, Jen, I just want to, first of all, I appreciate, Jen, you saying that us teaching from home, you know, that there's nothing to worry about. I agree. But I wanted to clarify about the penalizing for taking days. What I was trying to say was having to stay home because I have sniffles when it's not my choice, where I would never do that under normal circumstances. I would never stay home from my job because I had a little stomach ache or I had a little sniffle, whereas now I have to. I have no choice. And as a result, I don't think I should have to use sick days because that comes out of my pocket ultimately. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Jennifer,
so much for letting me.
clarifying that. Okay, you're quite welcome. I see that we don't have any more speakers.
One more.
All right, this is it, the last one, I promise you. Someone added on.
Justin?
Justin?
Hi, Dr. Robchar. Sorry again, I'm on my husband's account. My name is actually Victoria Marquetta. I'm a resident of Montville. I have 2 children in Cedar Hill Elementary School, and I'll make this quick. I know that, actually I don't know, but I can't imagine the position that you and the board are in making these decisions and how often you are reviewing the data and the constant communication back and forth. So thank you so much for that. As a parent of 2 young children, I do appreciate you taking into consideration the elementary school and the low level of cases within the school, as well as the lack of transmission in the school. I say that I'm appreciative because I hope that part of your decision is based on the toll that the virtual learning does have on those younger kids. I'm sure you are well aware and that you remember the summer sessions where the elementary parents were very vocal. And I appreciate you keeping in mind our concerns then, as they are still valid now, about how virtual learning has affected them emotionally as well as academically. And again, I can't thank the teachers enough. They have done a wonderful job in the spring and they're doing amazing now. And I know for some of them, being in school, again, it poses its challenges, but I thank you for the safety measures that you have taken. And I've told you this before, Dr. Rovtar, but I'd like to say this again publicly, that I feel very safe sending my 2 young children to school because of the measures that the district has taken. I thank you, the board, and most of all the teachers for their efforts. And I hope that we can continue on this trend for the sake of our kids. I wish obviously everybody in the district all the best, particularly those who are at the high school and Lazar in now shifting to remote. But thank you again for looking at the elementary school data as a separate entity. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it on comments.
That's it. Before we leave, I would like to thank everyone that spoke tonight. I would also like to thank all of the staff for what they've done since this pandemic started last March. I think that I'm very proud to have been in Montville, living here for so many years and having my 4 kids go through the school system. I think we have an outstanding staff, and I think that's been demonstrated by what we've accomplished in Montville as a district. And I would also like to wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year and a holiday season. If there's nothing else at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Charlie, before we adjourn, I just want to make a couple of comments. Is that okay?
Yeah, Mike,
okay. All right. First of all, I just want to thank the teachers for not only the professionalism they've displayed in teaching and adjusting to the difficulties and administering education throughout this pandemic, but also the professional way they conducted themselves during tonight's board meeting. Everything is very professional, and it's a fact that's not lost on us, and I'm sure it's not lost on Dr. Rovtar either. You teachers are never taken for granted by us. I want you to understand that. I want to thank Dr. Rovtar for what she's been doing for the last 9 months, trying to balance the needs of the community. Obviously, there's always going to be a balance of some type between safety and education, and she's done the best she can with that. I know that Dr. Rovtar has never made a decision where she has disregarded the teachers. The decision might not be what is desired, but it is always based on her professional and well thought out opinion as to the greatest value of good versus bad. She's assured us, and I take her at her word, that she will continue to monitor the situation during the holidays, and based upon the data, if that warrants something, she reserves the right to change course at a second if the data warrants it. And I know she's going to keep a close eye on this. I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and we'll pray for everyone's continuing health during this pandemic. And thanks for giving me the chance to say this, Charlie.
Thank you, Mike. And I think everyone, whether they're on the virtual presentation or worked with Dr. Rovtar over the years, realizes that she's concerned with everybody, especially the youngsters. And I know that she has been monitoring this, as she's explained to us on several occasions, and she will continue because that's the professional that she is, and we're very fortunate to have her as our educational leader. I would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Katine, do you have that motion second?
Something.
Huh?
It's mine.
Yes, I
Somebody?
do.
All right, before we leave, I would like to wish all of my colleagues the best for happy and holiday season. I also would like to wish everyone that's left on the virtual meeting the same. And again, I would like to thank all of the staff, no matter what level you're at, for your dedication for the children of Montville. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.